Hi guys, and welcome to this brand new Skoda Octavia. And by brand new I mean people have not taken deliveries of these cars yet. That is mostly due to the coronavirus, of course, but this car is actually brand new. It was just introduced and customers will start taking deliveries, well, mostly in the middle of 2020. So, brand new car, basically the same as Golf 8, well, at least roughly the same. And what a difference it makes from the last generation, the third generation Octavia. It has taken a massive step up, it really has. And first things first, I just want to tell you how much more refined it feels. I mean, everywhere. The engine, the quietness, the ride is so sublime. It's very comfortable. And this is the 2-liter diesel engine, 110 kilowatts, and it feels absolutely silky smooth. There is no diesel rattles, vibrations whatsoever. This feels like a Mercedes engine here. How have they done that with this price range? It's really baffling, actually. It's so quiet. And it has 18-inch wheels, normal size tires. This is a cheap car. This is a cheap car that you will buy because you just want a car, nothing more. And I can tell you, if you buy this car, you will not be disappointed at all. I own the third generation Octavia. I've driven the VRS diesel, the 2-liter diesel, the 1.4-liter petrol, 1.8-liter petrol. Basically, I've driven all of the engines they made previously, and now they have a plug-in hybrid, a sort of a mild hybrid system for the 1.5-liter engines, and there are, cheaper 1-liter engines as well. I haven't had a chance to drive a 1.5 petrol version of the Octavia, but I'm guessing it is absolutely brilliant as well. And the mild hybrid, well, why not? If you have the money and you have lots of city driving, it just makes sense. Just makes sense. But don't listen to me. There have been over 7 million Octavias sold worldwide, and this is the 4th generation, and I'm expecting even bigger numbers from this car, even considering that this coronavirus is devastating the world and the economy is in the dumper. Basically, people will still buy these cheap cars because, well, they want something reliable, nice to drive around in. The monthly payments in these cars are just ridiculously low. Insurance is basically nothing, and right now, sitting here, I can't figure out why anybody would buy anything else in this price range, because this car offers everything you want, absolutely everything. Oh dear, I quite like this car. The most amazing thing is the quality and the quietness in this car. It's really, I know I'm baffling on, but it is really amazing, because this is the type of quietness you will find in a 5 Series or a German luxury car, not a Skoda Octavia. This is amazing. Okay, enough of the emotions. Let's see. Okay, that was front assist acting way too early. There was no immediate danger there. But let's take a quick look on the outside, in the rear, and yeah, let's figure out this new system they have put here. So, okay, due to the wind, I'm not gonna talk very much on the outside, but as you can tell, this car is a big car. It has been refined everywhere. New LED taillights, new headlights, new design everywhere. 18-inch alloys, these are an optional extra, but nice to have because this is a big car and you need bigger alloys. 16-inch or 17-inch just aren't gonna cut it. New key as well, very nice looking, very nice indeed. Classic. sitting at the back, this is my driving position, and I'm kind of getting the feeling that there is less legroom here in the 4th generation than there was in the 3rd generation Octavia. Well, maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but anyway, there is plenty of room, absolutely nothing to be concerned about. Materials, here this is plastic. Meet Mr. Plastic. But yeah, and here as well, this is bad. Okay, heated rear seats. For the first time ever, Skoda gets USB Type-C chargers. So basically this means if you have an older phone like me, I have an iPhone XS, which isn't old, so to say, but I can charge my phone here because I don't have a USB-C plug. This means I will have to buy a new cord, so to say, or an adapter. But newer phones, you know, from iPhone 11 and up, will most likely have these USB Type-Cs, and the rest of the Android world already use them, so it's no biggie. Nice handrest. I would be happy to drive a long distance back here. Now, this is of course the full leather interior. These seats, which are ventilated, heated and ergonomic, are a 2,500 euro option. Yes, they make the cabin feel much more luxurious, but I think I wouldn't buy them, because this is still the mid-range Octavia and you do not want to spec this car out too much. Nice interior touches, you know, see these details here. Yeah, it looks fresh, it looks modern, very nice indeed. So now that we are sitting in the driver's seat, what can we see? A new type steering wheel. It's open in the bottom, so it's basically 2-spoke. They also offer a heated steering wheel option, very nice thing to have, and it was really cheap, like 100 or 200 euros. Just get it, trust me, you will thank me for that later. What else? I like the way you can grip the steering wheel from here right now. It's better than it was before. New digital display. You can of course configure it as you like. Regular, you know, dials, safety information, navigation, etc., or just a plain view. Yeah, good thing to have, but it's an optional extra. Again, I think you have to get when you're buying this car. This screen here is new as well. It's an optional extra for the Ambition and Active, but in Elegant trim it is standard, which also includes the navigation. Wait, menu and navigation. Can I see the map? Yeah, navigation. One thing I especially like about this new layout, see the strip down here? It's volume control. So basically you just, I can't slide it here because I will get a copyright notice, but if you slide it this way, it's, you know, plus, this way it's minus, and it also has buttons, so to say. So it works both ways. All the climate control information has moved, you know, up from here to the screen. It is a bit of a hassle to get used to, but trust me, it isn't that bad. Heated, cooled seat controls are here as well. You know, when you get used to it, it's really simple, it's really nice. Interior quality, well, as I mentioned before, a big step up, but still there are some scratchy bits here and there. If you just would get rid of those as well, I would give this car a very high rating. But scratch that. One thing I want to mention about the interior quality, see this little piece right here, down on the steering wheel? It just comes off. It literally just comes off. This is not acceptable, Skoda. This is not acceptable. Everything else is very nice, but this is just crap. Let's put it back. And it's just that easy. I'm not even kidding, it just comes off. like, how is this acceptable? How do you even say it? Gear by wire or something. Basically, it's a smaller version of the, you know, regular knob. You don't have your, you know, gear selector anymore. Reverse, neutral, D and sport, everything works as normal, and park as well. Cool feature is that when you are, for example, in reverse and you just wanna turn the engine off, it automatically goes into park, and the parking brake goes on as well. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the engine options. 1 liter petrol, I wouldn't get that because it's just too slow, and well, it's a very small engine in quite a big car, so avoid that if you can. 1.5 liter petrol, of course turbocharged, 110 kilowatts. This is probably my pick of the range, with a 7-speed DSG gearbox, and probably, if you can afford it, in elegance trim. There is also a plug-in hybrid version, which is a bit more expensive, but as I said, you know, probably the best version. And the 2 liter diesel, which I'm driving right now in 110 kilowatt form. There is also a 4-wheel drive version of this version, and yeah, it will be the choice of many taxi cabbers and Uber drivers, etc. Probably wouldn't be my pick of the range, mostly because it is a bit more expensive than the, you know, petrol versions, and for the same price as the diesel, but mostly due to the fact that in this price range there will be a hotter BRS version with a petrol engine and 180 kilowatts, just as the Golf GTI is right now. Wait, this is not the way to go. I think I should probably turn around. Okay. Anyway, this diesel wouldn't be my pick of the range. Would I wait for the VRS if you want the performance? Yes, probably I would. The VRS has been a very popular model because the price isn't that high, and you know, for the money you get so much performance, so much stuff. You know, talking more about the packages and the cost, the Octavia starts at 18,000 euros, and you can basically build it up to, you know, up towards 40,000 euros. This particular car optioned out is 36,000 euros. It's a bit much, if you ask me. I wouldn't spec it this highly. Elegance is the way to go, but you know, it might be called differently whichever where you live. But the higher versions Octavias are a better value deal, because I spec'd mine as I would, you know, a new car. I would get a digital display, heated seats of course, etc. Some safety kit is necessary, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, etc. Wait, this car doesn't have them. Okay, anyway, so I would get the safety kit, bigger screen. It's a nice welcome, but a smaller one will do perfectly fine for me. Seats, I would probably get the, you know, cheaper version of the cloth. I wouldn't spec the full leather. Seat ventilation, you do not need seat ventilation when you get cloth seats anyway, and for 2,500 euros just get a nicer set of wheels maybe. I don't know, go take a trip somewhere. So basically what I'm telling, don't spec this car up very highly. Oh yeah, and what my point was that when choosing between ambition and elegance, just pick the things you want in this car. Don't look at the packages, pick the things you want, you cannot live without, and then you will get a very good idea of what you need. Because if I spec'd my car up as I would like, actually the ambition was more expensive, because it is cheaper to buy the, you know, packages as a whole in elegance form rather than take ambition and just pile up on the options list. It's just that much more cheaper. It was like, you know, roughly 2,000 euros more cheaper for me to build a elegance version of the Octavia rather to get the cheaper version. Make sense? I hope it does. Essential things you want in this car, most of the things you really need are as standard. Adaptive cruise control is really a must. Please check that box. trust me, your car will be worth more in the future if you tick that box. Metallic paintwork, please get that, because the regular paintworks, well, they just look so bland. I'm gonna put the configurator up there. The standard blue is basically meant for taxi cabbers so that they can wrap the car, so there's no point in getting that. It's really ugly. So I think this was my quick review of the Skoda Octavia. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe. It will help me out a lot. And yeah, see you again guys. Bye bye.